Strategic back again. Wow, guys. I know this is a pop-up live. I got a really interesting show for you guys today. It's not going to be a long live, but I think it's a very important live because we're going to talk about a off-duty firefighter by the name of Anthony Santi who lost his life in Missouri. And the big reason why I decided to actually cover this is because this reminded me of the Kyle Rittenhouse case. This reminded me about the Kyle Rittenhouse case because this is a case of self-defense. And one thing that just reverberated into my brain was how so many activists were saying, well, if Kyle Rittenhouse was of a different race, the outcome would be different. He'd be in jail. He'd be doing life in prison, right? But in this case, we're going to see how this literally is the reverse. And the victim is actually somewhat of a bona fide hero, right? The person who was killed is a hero, unlike the people who were involved in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. And yet the outcome is the same as the Kyle Rittenhouse case. The individual who ended that person's life will face no consequences. So like I told you, we're not going to be a long live, so I want to jump right into it. But before I get started, I want to give a big shout out to Stevie Marley and Philip and Buster, who's in the building, showing love in this pop-up live. So what happened? On October 6th in Missouri, an African-American male by the name of Javon Taylor, 23 years old, goes into a gas station, Little Mart. You know, the place you go, you get your cigarettes and your candy from inside of the gas station, goes in there. He's looking for a specific type of cigarella roll-up paper. I guess he wants to smoke marijuana. I don't know if that's the exact reason why he wanted it, but he wanted cigarella paper. They didn't have the specific brand that he was looking for. Rather than leave, witnesses say that he started an argument and started disrespecting the clerk. It was a female clerk. At some point, the female clerk stated that Mr. Taylor should leave the store. She said, "I'm refusing you service. You need to get out of the store." He continued to mouth off to her, to not comply with her demands, and therefore, 41-year-old off-duty firefighter Anthony Santi, he stepped in. He said, "Hey, you need to leave." He didn't put any hands on the guy. He says, "You need to leave." So Mr. Javon Taylor went to his car and retrieved an illegal firearm with an extended magazine, right? He then goes to confront the store clerk and Mr. Santi. I don't know if his intention was to kill them, scare them, assault them, maim them, whatever. I don't know. But we do know that he retrieved an illegal firearm from his vehicle and then proceeded to accost Mr. Santi. Mr. Santi then uses force on him. They start fighting. And Mr. Santi gets the best of this guy. And I'm going to show you a little bit of it. I'm not going to show you a lot of the video because YouTube is a little crazy. But let's see if we can get in on this and see what's going on. All right. Bring this in here real quick. All right. So this is him on top. It's Mr. Santi. And this is Mr. Taylor on the bottom. And what you missed was the girlfriend removed the firearm from Taylor. Taylor had the firearm in his hand, and Mr. Santi is getting the best of him. The girlfriend comes over, and she removes the firearm from Mr. Taylor, and she now has it. And she's telling Mr. Santi to get off of her boyfriend, right? Unfortunately, I can't play any more of this because YouTube will be very upset. And I'm not playing any violence. I'm not showing anybody getting hurt. There's nobody getting injured in the video that I just showed you, right? Mr. Santi unfortunately did not get off of Mr. Taylor when this unnamed female, who's the girlfriend of Mr. Taylor, gave him direction to get off. She then proceeded to shoot Mr. Santi one time in the back, which causes his demise. Now, the local district attorney, the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, they reviewed this video, they reviewed witness testimony, and then they determined that they would not press charges on this woman. Now, let's look at the parallels between this case and the Kyle Rittenhouse case. In the Kyle Rittenhouse case, Kyle Rittenhouse was lawfully, it was determined later that he was lawfully possessing that rifle. Some people still say he had an illegal firearm and wasn't old enough to have it. It was determined in trial that the law was so vague and not specific about him carrying that rifle at that age in that specific situation, that it was lawful, that the judge was going to throw out that charge and he would not be charged with it, right? So Kyle Rittenhouse is carrying that lawful weapon, open carry, which is lawfully able to be done in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and Rosenbaum, who's the first person, tried to take the weapon from him. And because he tried to take the weapon from him, Kyle Rittenhouse had a right to defend himself and use deadly physical force. Everybody else that came after Rosenbaum, to various degrees, either also tried to take the weapon or hit Kyle Rittenhouse with deadly instruments or presented weapons at Kyle Rittenhouse, other guns at Kyle Rittenhouse, and Kyle Rittenhouse defended himself in kind. Well, in this one, Mr. Javon Taylor, according to witnesses, allegedly was the provocateur. He was the one who was starting trouble. He was the one who was presenting a danger to other people. First, it was a verbal disagreement. And then he went to his car and produced an illegal firearm. Yet, because of stand your ground laws, his girlfriend was able to lawfully kill Mr. Santi simply because he did not get off of her boyfriend fast enough. Now, in all honesty and in all transparency, there were times during this altercation when Mr. Santi had Mr. Taylor in a headlock. And people are going to look at that and say, well, if you have somebody in a headlock, you could possibly kill them because you could restrict their breathing. Do I think that this woman should have gotten off scot-free? I don't know, man. I think the law is clear. And I think that the prosecutor could have charged her, but he could have also not charged her, and they decided not to, and we got to stand by that. For me, the issue is that Mr. Taylor produced an illegal firearm into a verbal disagreement, which he started, which he was the aggressor. And he started something he couldn't finish, and this woman who had nothing to do with the fight, she's related to the party, she's the girlfriend, but she had nothing to do with the fight. She killed him. Now, in Missouri, their stand their ground law allows you to use force to protect other people. So I think it's a sad situation. It's a sad case. Now, the only justice that might happen in this case is that the federal government has charged the boyfriend with possession of this illegal weapon and the extended magazine. He is looking at Fed charges. I don't know how much time those Fed charges actually hold. I don't know if it's a long-term situation or if, it's a short prison sentence. But it's definitely a sad situation for the family of Santi. Everybody says that he's a good guy. And he could have minded his business. He could have minded his business, and he could have simply not try to help, but he was a great guy. He was a firefighter. We all know firefighters, firefighters and cops have that fake beef in some instances. These guys, they want to help, man. They're real heroes. Firefighters are real heroes. And he saw a clerk in distress, and he tried his best to defend her. And then he saw an armed man, and he didn't chicken out. He engaged that armed man, and he was able to get the best of that guy. But unfortunately, the laws do not add up with the situation that was presented, and Mr. Taylor's girlfriend was able to lawfully kill him. When stand your ground laws first came out, guys, I wasn't a big fan of it. I know a lot of civilians were big fans of it, but I understood as a law enforcement officer dealing with these type of situations, how it could end up being a tricky situation, how innocent people can end up getting killed. As the laws have continued to exist in our country, I've softened myself to those laws. I've realized that we do need the ability to defend ourselves much more than most states allow you to be able to, especially northern and western states like California and northeast states like New York. But I do think that just like how those stand your ground laws in New York and California are too restrictive, I think some of these stand your ground laws in the South and in the Midwest are too loose. I think all of these laws need to be tightened a little bit. I think that some of these stand your ground laws are just too pro being able to kill somebody over simple disputes and getting away with it. So I'm not in the camp of repealing stand your ground laws. And I think the castle doctrine should not be touched at all. I think the castle doctrine is just fine the way it is. You go into somebody's dwelling, you're threatening them, they should have the right to defend themselves. But when we leave the castle doctrine and we start getting to stand your ground laws that pertain to people on the streets, we're starting to see a lot of people get killed over petty disagreements simply because I feel threatened and I have no duty whatsoever to retreat. And we're starting to see a lot of people, maybe not in this particular case, in this Taylor case, because the girlfriend's the one who did the killing. She didn't go looking for anything. But we've seen other cases where people go out looking for trouble. They go out looking for trouble. And when they find that trouble, they're able to lawfully end people and get away with it. Before I go, because I told you guys it's going to be a short show, it makes me think about that father in Texas who lawfully was able, under the custody agreement, to pick up his child from his ex-wife's place of employment. That was the place that they agreed that the handoff would happen. They didn't have an abusive relationship and order protections, which resulted in them going to a police station and handing the kids off to each other. No, they agreed that this man, this father, would be able to go to the ex-wife's place of employment and pick up the kids. But on this particular day, when he was supposed to pick up his kids, the ex-wife says, no, I want to spend more time with the kids, so come back later. And then an argument ensued. And out of nowhere, the new man in the ex-wife's life, who was the husband's best friend in the past, so she left her husband and started sleeping with her husband's best friend, right? He just goes in the house and retrieves a firearm and then, threatens the guy, say, get off my property. And when the guy doesn't get off of his property and kind of slaps the gun, like, get that out of my face, man. You're not going to shoot me. He kills the guy. The guy is dead. Now, was the father smart for doing that? No, he wasn't. But did the best friend, who's now the cuckold, who's now with the ex-wife, should he have murdered his ex-wife kid's father? No. There had to be a better way. But he got away with it. Why? Because of stand your ground laws that are so loose that says, if you feel threatened, you can kill that person because you have no duty to retreat. There's got to be a silver lining that we can reach collectively as a society where both liberal and conservative people can say, yes, this is the sweet spot. This is where we want this law, where everybody can defend themselves and feel safe and feel like they don't have to be a victim. But at the same time, we don't allow people to execute their enemies under the guise of stand your ground, of not having a duty to retreat. This is a tough case, guys. This is a real tough case. This guy was a good guy. This was not a bad person. This was not a thug. This was not a gangster. If anything, I dare say allegedly, Javon Taylor could be construed as the thug. But then again, Javon Taylor wasn't the one that shot him. Because, like I told you guys, go to my Instagram page if you want to see the whole video. I have it on my Instagram page. I can't play it for you on YouTube. But Javon Taylor had the gun in his hand for a lot of the fight, and he never decided to shoot this man. He could have shot him, but he didn't. He had the gun in his hand, but he wasn't planning on shooting this guy. Even though this man was on top of him and was besting him, His girlfriend took the gun from him and decided to pull the trigger. It's a tragedy that we lost a firefighter because some little boy, 21 years old, could not modulate his anger and had to show off and had to try and scare people with an illegal gun. I'm gonna play this video for you and then we'll call it a day.
Cell phone video captures the end of a long altercation outside the Liquorland gas station in Independence. Off-duty firefighter Anthony Santi is on top of 23-year-old Javon Taylor. A woman with a gun demands Santi let Taylor go. Later in the video, she fires a round.
The argument, the fighting was like around 10 minutes, so it just escalated from there. So that's how you can tell it was a bit tragic the way it escalated.
Friends say Santi loved his daughter, his family, and the outdoors. They say he was known to stand up for what he thought is right.
He was protecting and being the person that he is, dying. Of course, he died a hero because he loved helping people.
Loved ones are in disbelief about what happened. A witness tells KMBC that Santi heard a man disrespect a woman cashier and he stood up for her. Then the argument began. Police say Taylor grabbed a gun. The woman outside fires the fatal round.
It's a horrible thing to happen at such a young age. It's mind-blowing right now. I'm just still in shock.
Friends say Santi chose to be a firefighter to help others.
We did it to help people. You know, there was a lot of things, you know, he could have done.
They hope his daughter knows how much he cared.
And if she can hear this, I just want her to know how much he loved her. He really, really loved her, and all he ever wanted to do was protect her.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it.
More than 70.
There you have it. You know, we did see him have this man in a headlock. You know, the girlfriend may not have been in the store, may not have understood the gravity of the argument, and she sees her boyfriend in a headlock. In the full video that I watched, she's screaming, "Our kids are in the car, our kids are in the car, please stop, enough, you have him in a headlock, don't put him in a headlock, you're gonna kill him." And then she shoots him. Witnesses said the fight was over 10 minutes long. But I mean, I'm flabbergasted on whose side to be on. Because from my perspective, Javon Taylor was the initial aggressor. He's the one who started the argument with the clerk. He's the one who didn't walk away when this man tried to defend the clerk. And he's the one that went out and got a gun, an illegal gun, out of the car. But at the same time, during the fight, eventually this guy's besting him, Santi, and he's got him in a headlock. We know how people feel about headlocks and neck restraints and all that stuff now in 2022. And she's telling him to stop, and she has a gun, and I'm sure he sees she has the gun, but he probably doesn't think she has the balls to pull the trigger, and she pulls the trigger. And I think what saved her is that she waited so long to pull the trigger. At some point, Santi should have just said, enough is enough. But at some point, maybe Javon Taylor should have just walked away instead of going retrieve a gun. This is one of those situations where it doesn't seem like anybody was right. But maybe we could assign who might be a little bit more wrong. I don't know. Before I get out of here, Philip and Brother says, as strategic, what is the definition of feeling threatened? If a person is borderline schizophrenic, can that person just kill because he or she feels threatened, even if there's no objective threat? It's a good question, but I think I can't answer that question, and but we can definitely look at this particular situation. We could say, obviously, he had the guy in a headlock, and the girlfriend is giving him constant verbal warnings to stop, and it's unfortunate. It really is. I don't know what I would do if I had the power to charge. My my heart says you got to pay for what you did, but at the same time the law is clear that she stood her ground. The law is clear she stood her ground, and that's why I opened this video by saying maybe we need to tweak the laws. Maybe we need to tweak the laws. Anyway, you guys are awesome. I told you guys I wasn't going to do a long show today. I really appreciate the support. I haven't been giving you guys a lot of live shows since I've been back from my YouTube jail bid. But I have been dropping videos. So thank you for supporting the videos. Make sure that you watch those videos. Make sure that you like those videos. And make sure also that you share the videos, because if you don't share it, nobody else is going to see it. We are now over 7,000 subscribers. Do you hear me? We are over 7,000 subscribers. We are less than 3,000 subscribers from that magic number of 10,000. When you get to 10,000, you can sell merch, you can do all kinds of things. And the algorithm tends to show you more love when you have more than 10,000 subscribers. Like YouTube looks at you more as a serious YouTuber when you have those many subscribers. So thank you to all the new subscribers that brought me over the top. Please make sure that you share it with your friends. Our next goal, yes, XOXO Bob, our next goal is 10,000. Next goal is not 8 or 9. We're not doing this incremental crap. The next goal is 10,000. And the way we get to 10,000 is by you sharing it with your friends. Make sure that you join an Instagram page. My Instagram page is booming. In the last week, I went from 300 subscribers to almost 1,000 now. We're like 100 away from 1,000. And I have a video that has almost 500,000 views. Do you hear me? 500,000 views on Instagram. It's bananas. It's crazy. I had to turn off notifications because every single day, it's like I turn on my phone and my phone is like, it's like 1,000 likes and subscribes and all this bull crap. So it's awesome. It's great. We're building out the Instagram page. Instagram is much more lenient than YouTube. So I'm putting tons of really crazy videos on Instagram. If you want to see crazy police and just crazy freak out videos, go on the Instagram page. Make sure that you're also subscribed to the Rumble page, and make sure that you're also subscribed to the Locals page. We're here. And the Facebook too. Facebook as well. We got people who are showing love from I could never say his name. From WYSIWYG. Thanks for coming through, Valerie of 4. I appreciate you for supporting the channel. Everybody else, we got a lot of subscribers from this channel. Does anybody know what happened to his page? Because I went to go see the video and it said that his account was terminated. Wizzy. I'm going to call him Wizzy for now. So if you're a fan of Wizzy, is his account terminated or no? How does that work? I literally went to click the link to see the video that we did together, and it says this video has been removed because the account associated with the video has been terminated. And don't ask me why. I know how to say that verbatim. So Valerie Before says, no, it's not terminated. So you know what? It's a possibility. Maybe the link was bad, or we just got the erroneous error message from YouTube. So I apologize for that. Oh, he said it's back. Stevie Morris says it's back. So something happened on the back end, but he was able to work it out, and that's great because I really had a good time on the show. But I'm going to give you guys some inside information on that. It took us a while for us to link up because my schedule was crazy. And he said it on the live, and I agree with him. We really weren't prepared like on specific topics. And I think he's a really good interviewer, and I really had a good time on his show. So I'd love to go back because he said, I would like to have you back. I'd love to go back and have him really be prepared to ask me whatever questions he wants so that we could really dig deep and just a deep dive into it. So I had a really good time on the show, and I'm so interested to go back on the show. I think he has a great platform. He has really awesome people who watches his show. So, you know, if Wizzy's watching or listening, bring me back on the show. You can even bring some guests on the show if you want, some call-ins, let people ask me questions. I want to get deep into it because I liked his interview style, and I think that his interview style will really bring out the best in strategic, if that makes any sense. I'm not giving a negative critique. What I'm saying is I think this guy's got the skill to bring out the best in me. So I'd love for him for us to set something up like a week out in advance, and then he, advertise it on his Discord, because I spoke to some of the people on his Discord, and they're awesome. His Discord is awesome. Get lots of questions prepared, and then I will definitely make sure that I have the time, I'm off, and we could start at his usual time at 7 o'clock instead of late at 9:30, which he accommodated me with, which I'm so grateful for. And then I'm tired, when it gets to like around 10:30, because I'm getting old, I get tired. We could start at 7, and he can ask me questions, and we could talk for 2-3 hours. And I think that will be a monumental conversation. I think it'll definitely be a really good conversation, and I'm looking forward to it. So, guys, once again, it was great. We had a great conversation. Please make sure that you go check out the video. People saying it's back up again. Go check it out. And make sure that you share this with your friends and your family. Put it on your Facebook, put it on your Instagram. Say, hey, check this guy Strategic out. Once again, we're way over 7,000. Not way over. Let me not gas it. We're over 7,000, and we're on our way to 10,000, and I can't get there without you guys. So thank you so much. Once again, big shout out to all the people from Wizzy's channel who are showing love and who's come over to the Strategic Eyes show to help me build out this platform. Big shout out to all the oldies and goldies and all the Strategic Eyes family who are showing love. I will see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.